Hello folks and welcome to Rebel Inc. Escalation. We're here to take a quick look at this game. I'm a Plague Inc. fan. Originally I think the browser game was called Ndemic back in the day, over 10-15 years ago. And then that became Plague Inc. Evolved, which is a very fun game to play. You know, you try to wipe out all of humanity. But the developers of Plague Inc., I forget their names, terrible YouTubing on my part, but basically they gave me a press code for this. I was actually after the board game of Plague Inc., and then they were like, yeah, that's cool, but can you try out this game for us? And I'm like, okay, sure. This game is actually not based on, it's called Rebel Inc. Escalation, is not based on killing off the entire world. It's actually based on trying to kill a bunch of insurgents, rebels basically, and gain support in a local community for your military intervention and your local civilian projects, and kind of like try to keep inflation and corruption down. Here we can see that there's no campaign mode yet, and no scenario, also no speedruns, but that's supposedly coming soon. There's also a multiplayer here that supposedly is on its way, and a scenario creator. But for now I think it's only single player, and basically I've only played 3 maps so far. There are a couple of difficulties that we're going to get into here, but there are a total of 7 maps, so there's some variety to play around with, but it does get more customizable than just the maps, of course. If we go into Pistachio Forest here, the first thing we get is that we can select a governor. So these kind of traits here and these things are very much, if you've played Plague Inc., then you'll definitely recognize the kind of mechanics here. You basically choose your the main feature of your governor. You always start off with just one, and then they start unlocking as you play along. I've also played with the economist. The first line here, a long-term thinker, doesn't really mean much. You just get all your money at once every year instead of every month, which personally I found almost harder to play than with a civil servant. I don't know what the general actually does. I think he unlocks certain military things earlier than the rest. Banker I haven't played with yet, and doesn't like spending money. Ooh, that's interesting, to say the least. And then there are, of course, some other ones here which are even more interesting. Wow, Smuggler, Retried Black Market Operator, Comfortable with Chaos, Warlord, Controversial and Ruthless, can call on a large personal militia. Tank Commander, Big Believer in Tanks, likes to crush enemies with heavy armor. I mean, heavy armor is cool, but in the mountains against insurgents, I don't know. And also Develop Director, a skilled micromanager, prioritizes zones for development. We're just going to select the banker here as an example. Now you have advisors as well, and this is of course straight out of Plague Inc., and each advisor has a different speciality. I'm not going to go over everyone, but for example, if we choose the religious leader, significantly boosts decrease in insurgent capability when stabilizing zones. I think right, you can't even see what they do before you actually unlock them. It's always good to have advisors. You obviously start off the game without any advisors and with just the generic basic stuff, but of course the levels are easier. The map is just better in that sense. The sensor, reduce reputation loss when insurgents capture zones. Kind of nice. And then we come to the difficulties, of course, casual. Don't know if you actually get started unlocking stuff, but you can, you know, it's a valid way to play the game. Then you have the normal, which is all I've played so far, and you have brutal. But you also have an extra mega brutal. I love the art here. Exceptionally demanding locals, rampant corruption and inflation, relentless insurgent onslaught. Well, I'm just gonna go with normal here for examples. Ooh, apparently you can use cheats, but you first have to beat the map once, apparently. So I haven't used cheats yet. I don't really know what that does. I guess you can just play around and try out different strategies with the map. Here you can randomize the name of the operation. You can, of course, name it whatever you want. I think. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, of course I can. Dead Dawn, because I'm definitely gonna fail since I'm playing this. And yeah, I just click start game. So here's the thing. So you play as the basically the foreign military. You're basically, this is very much based, I mean, it's not supposed to, I guess, be based on any particular scenario, right? You know, it's supposed to be as, I think they tried to be very sensitive about the politics of it all, but basically it's based on the American invasion of Afghanistan, and you're basically the Americans or NATO forces, and you try to engage the local communities and build support, and then fight off insurgents that start coming normally from the mountains or areas that you don't really control. So at first you have a zoom out of the entire map, and each... Oh, shit. Well, I did not mean to place my headquarters in the middle of the woods. Normally you want to place it in a location with good access to things and somewhere where you might, you know, defend stuff. So I'm definitely going to lose this, but, you know, I think this will serve as a good example. So yeah, it's very much probably the same engine as Plague Inc. And down here you have your money. You get some money every month, and you have some starting money. There's corruption and inflation. Corruption makes things harder to do, and inflation just makes everything more expensive because you buy it with money. And you can do civilian initiatives that will increase support and slowly build infrastructure and stuff. You can do government things like, you know, anti-corruption laws. You can get some more district representatives that will give you information, and local militias, and we're gonna see these trees kind of expand as we play. And then we have the military area, which is locked unless you have the general person, and they will this will be quite important, at least in the strategy that I've played. Yeah, and to win you have to stabilize the entire thing. So basically we are definitely screwed. I'm definitely going to lose, but again, the point here isn't to do a let's play. I'm just, you know, I just kind of want to show this off a little bit. I'm going to start with some anti-corruption, maybe some services discussion, medical supplies. I like to have some information about what's happening in the world, and yeah, we'll save the $20 there as a buffer. And you'll see also the year, you know, you start off in 2001, 2002, so basically, you know, definitely Afghanistan. Yeah, so I've gone ahead and unlocked even more stuff here. Obviously my inflation is probably super high right now because I just purchased a lot of stuff at once. And as you play with more maps, you also get new stuff. I think it might actually have to do with the governor policy you have, or the governor you have, because here we can apparently hire lobbyists and also print money, obviously increasing inflation, but gaining $12 there. So that's interesting. We're gonna get some electricity. We're gonna give our people all the good stuff. Basic sanitation would probably be good, and some development discussions there. So insurgency has been rumored, military initiative has been authorized. We are, of course, going to get us our soldier. We're going to buy national soldiers already and the garrisons. And then eventually we can upgrade some stuff. So we can already have 2 units that are going to kind of train and get ready to be deployed. So in the beginning they might actually antagonize the local population before you actually unlock some other stuff here. And so I'm not actually going to place them in... Ooh, yeah, actually I would want a garrison there, but we need some more money. That's 4, we need 6. Well, we have time. I think we will. And garrisons will provide us boosts and stuff, so we definitely want garrisons. Insurgents have been reported in Foxtrot Kilo, so here you can see some of the insurgents that we can see. We're redeploying our coalition soldiers. What's over here? So events also pop up here, and you get to click them. It's a local, yeah, we'll launch a raid. I don't know. Insurgents have been found. Fantastic. I mean, I kind of like the game. It's definitely something I wouldn't mind, or I don't mind playing when I come home. But I think it'd be fun to have the ability to play as the insurgents, because I don't know, Plague Inc. gives me that feeling of, you know, you're definitely a misanthrope. So here I also want to, you know, just destroy things. But I guess it's kind of nice to, I don't know, develop civilian initiatives and stuff. Yeah, we're definitely screwed. I mean, our headquarters is just way too far out to be of any use. Obviously, if the insurgents actually kill off your headquarters, you're done for. So I guess it's nice that it's far out, but at the same time, we can't really see the rest of the map, and it's not really helping. Oh, and also we have reputation that we have to keep up. If this goes too low, we basically lose. Eventually, we can actually propose a peace deal. We get to sit down at the table and try to get something sorted. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of interesting mechanics that are at play here. And once they attack population centers, that actually really hits your reputation, which is terrible. So that's why I think we're gonna lose here, because there are certain population areas that we definitely don't have under our control. Oh, we're so screwed. Wow. I don't think I've lost this game so fast before. We're still in 2007. Yeah, that did not go well. But I think that kind of gives an idea of how the game plays out, right? We can look at some region stats here: corruption and corruption risk, population, over time, hostiles versus reporters and neutrals. So why did we lose? Lack of stability. Yeah, that's why we lost. And also, corruption does have an effect on that, but very small. And insurgent activity. Stability, we can see here. Money. Insurgents and peace. Yeah, this peace process I won't be able to show here because I'm not gonna play another try here. But you know, I think this gives you an idea of how the game plays out. So overall, I think it's actually kind of fun. Don't really remember the price because I got this as a press copy again. I think it's up for you to judge if it's worth the price. But if there's ever a sale, I think it might be worth picking up, especially if you like Plague Inc. Hopefully, these scenario editors, multiplayer, and campaign modes and speed runs and stuff will be coming in the near future, and I'm kind of looking forward to trying those out. And I hope you are too. I thought for a second that, you know, there was an expansion already out, like a DLC that you had to pay for these two maps, Azure Dam and Tanks and Caves, but those are actually just, I think, updates, and they are these last maps over here. But again, I hope you've enjoyed this little look at Rebel Inc. Escalation. I was about to say Plague Inc. And I hope to see you in my future videos. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. This has been GameGabster. Farewell.